Okay, so in this particular video, here's a couple additional problems for average speed to get you to familiarize yourself with how to solve problems with a couple of different steps. All right. So in this first example here, we have a train that is going to go from point A to point B, and in the diagram, it is given as 150 miles, and then the rate is 50 miles per hour. And then from B to C, the train does move at a slow rate of 20 miles per hour, but the time is given in this one of 4 hours. So the question essentially asks us to find the average speed for the whole entire trip. So because it uses the phrase entire trip, we have to figure out from A to C. Okay, so here in my work, I've broken it down to two segments here. As you can see on the left side of the chart, we have A to B in blue and then B to C in green. All right, so because the question asks us to find average speed for the entire trip, we have to figure out the whole entire distance. So as you notice here from A to B, the distance is given, the speed is given. What we are missing is time. And speed is equal to distance over time. So really we're just missing one variable, which is t, which we'll solve for in just a second. But as you practice, kind of notice what's given and what's missing. From B to C, I noticed that the speed is given as 20 miles per hour. And then the time that it goes from B to C is 4 hours. So here we're missing D, the distance. So I'll teach you how to find, just the missing variables here and then solve for the average speed of the whole entire trip. All right, so focus on what is being asked of you. If it asks you for the average speed of the entire trip right away, you should identify and try to find total distance divided by the total time. Okay, so in point A to B, again, hopefully by now you know that t is missing. The function to find time is distance over average speed. So to find time, all we have to do is really just do a plug and chug. The distance in segment A to B is given as 150 miles. The speed is given as 50 miles per hour, which I've kind of broken down to this format. And then you notice here miles cancels out. So to find the time, to cover 150 miles at a rate of 50 miles per hour, will take you 3 hours, which hopefully makes sense. Okay. On the right side of the chart, you notice again in the diagram, the speed was given, time was given. The only thing that you're not given explicitly is the distance. So to find distance, you would simply take the speed times time or time times average speed. Doesn't really matter how you write it because you're multiplying. Here, I noticed that the time is given in the diagram as 4. The rate is 20 miles per hour. And if you do things properly in physics, the units will cancel out. So here we have 4 times 20, which is 80, and the unit is miles because that is the unit for distance in this particular problem. Okay. So now we kind of know everything. To find average speed for the whole entire thing, we need the total distance divided by the total time. Well, we know that the second leg took 4 hours. We just found out that it took 3 hours from A to B, so total would be 7 hours. And then the first distance is given as 150 miles. We just found the distance from B to C, which is 80 miles. So really we have all the information. So let's just go ahead and knock it out. So the total distance would simply be the first leg, which is 150 miles, plus the second leg, which we just calculated in green here. So distance from B to C is 80 miles. And then the time that it takes to cover the first 150 miles, which we calculated in blue here on the left side. And then we add it to the 4 hours, which is given in the schematic at the very top right of the screen, which is 4 hours. So here, it becomes just a basic calculator problem. All right. So 150 plus 80 is 230 miles, and then divided by 7 hours. And if you do that on your calculator, you should get a value of 32.86 miles per hour. Okay. And that's that. Here's the second example. It says here, you have a dolphin and a sea lion. The dolphin is swimming at a rate of 26 miles per hour. The sea lion can swim at 22 miles per hour. And it says if both of these animals swim for 5 hours, how much farther will the dolphin be ahead? Okay, so common sense tells you the dolphin is going to be ahead because it is swimming at a faster rate and they're both swimming for the same amount of time. So in this case, the dolphin will be ahead after 5 hours. And the question is how far? So in order to figure out how far, we have to find the distance both of these animals travel. So let's go ahead and set up our function again, where we can just solve for d. To solve for d, we can simply multiply both sides by t from the average speed function, and that cancels that. Okay, and then here we have distance equal to time times the average speed, or again, you can write average speed times time. It doesn't matter the order on the left side because you are multiplying. All right, so I just have it as that. But here we're going to apply it twice. We have the function to find distance, but we're going to find it twice because there are two animals involved, the dolphin and the sea lion. So I'll go ahead and do the dolphin first on the left side here. The time for the dolphin is 5 hours. The dolphin, as stated, is swimming at a rate of 26 miles per hour. If you do that correctly, the hours will cancel out for units, and then that will leave you with 130 miles for the dolphin. And then we can do the same strategy for the sea lion. The time here for the sea lion is the same since both of them swam for the same amount of hours. And then the rate of the sea lion is 22 miles per hour. Hours cancels out, and then 5 times 22 is 110 miles. But you can't not stop here. It asks you how much farther. So hopefully by now this is pretty straightforward. The dolphin swam 430 miles. The sea lion swam 410 miles. So to find how much farther, you would simply just subtract. So I would just take the distance that the dolphin swam, which is 130 miles, minus 110 miles for the sea lion, and the answer is simply 20 miles. Okay, I hope that helps. Stay nerdy. Don't be whack.